Thank you for attending today. I want to address the issues raised by my nursing colleagues who are extremely concerned at the proposed changes to their working rosters at Cloverhill Prison. These changes, if implemented, will lead to the halving of nursing cover on a nightly basis. My colleagues are extremely worried about the repercussions of this decision on staff welfare and safety, and similarly the welfare and safety of prisoners to whom they have a duty of care as professionals registered with on board alternate. Cloverhill Prison is an extremely volatile working environment. They receive committals from Leinster courts, plus emergency committals from Donegal to Kerry and everywhere in between, and most notably is where homicide charges are made. They get all-guarded National Immigration Bureau committals from the airport for deportation. Many who have ingested drugs and require 24-hour observation. 60% minister committals from the Bridewell have drug and alcohol addiction, requiring immediate intervention for withdrawal. From speaking to nurses in Cloverhill, prisoners are accepted into the prison throughout the day and the night. This situation therefore requires 24-hour triage cover within the institution. To suggest otherwise would be irresponsible and basically asking for trouble. The prisoners who arrive to Cloverhill are of an extremely volatile nature. Many are suffering from underlying illnesses, physical and mental, abusing of illegal substances, and most cases are addicted. They pose a high suicide risk, are extremely vulnerable and possess various other problems. Deterioration in health due to these issues place more demand on the expertise of nurses, and one nurse simply couldn't meet the needs as outlined in this new proposed roster. Suicides are an ever-present risk within the population. To suggest one nurse could attend a suicide attempt and meet the needs demanded by this situation is impractical and reckless. I refer to an incident which happened just recently, highlighted to me by the nurse concerned who attended the scene. With 26 years of nursing experience, this nurse attended during the night the scene was something she'd never seen before. She described it as a bloodbath. Her priority on that night and that of her nursing colleague was obviously the prisoner. She vividly remembers the scene in the cell and recounts that there were similar incidents to arise again. One nurse simply could not cope with the pressures and demand. Simply put, we need 2 nurses to complete CPR, and there are a lot of CPR administered in the prison following overdose and attempted suicide, and obviously in cases there are completed suicide. The nurses' concerns have been consistently highlighted to the prison management through their union, but to no avail. The response and lack of acknowledgement of the nurses' concerns are extremely worrying. In recent days, there are rumours, and staff have become aware of these, that maybe perhaps this new roster will be shelved. If this is the case, it is to be welcomed on all angles. However, I would like to respond to my nursing colleagues and provide certainty to them from here on in that double cover will remain in place. Their safety and welfare, along with that of the prisoners, will remain secure, and the cloud of doubt, which has resulted in fraught atmosphere between staff and management, can now lift. I would appreciate if you could provide me with this certainty this morning.
Thank you. First of all, I want to apologise to the Taoiseach who couldn't be here today to take the debate herself. I think, as you might have been previously informed of that as well. So the Taoiseach does thank Senator Devine for raising this issue and for affording her the opportunity through me to address this House in this matter as well. The Taoiseach wishes to emphasise that the provision of healthcare is a statutory obligation of the Irish Prison Service, as defined in the Prison Rules 2007. She can assure the Senator that the care and rehabilitation of persons in custody is a core aim of the Irish Prison Service. The IPS healthcare standards outline its commitment to provide equivalence of care to the prisoner population in custody. In this regard, the Prison Healthcare Service seeks to provide prisoners with access to the same range and quality of healthcare services as that available under the medical card scheme in the community. Nursing care in the prison service has historically been provided by a group of staff referred to as medical orderlies, prison officers with some basic first aid training. In 1999, qualified registered nurses were first introduced to the Irish Prison Service. The drivers for this development were mainly external and came from groups such as the CPT, which is the Committee for the Prevention of Torture and Inhumane or Degrading Treatment of Punishment, the Penal Reform Trust, the Oldham Report and others as well. The introduction of professional nursing services into the prison system greatly improved the quality and the standard of care, which is what you referred to in your own presentation as well. A prison nurse will generally work under the direction of a chief nurse officer and in partnership with the prison doctors, while the overall responsibility for the management of a prison and place of detention rests with the governor of the institution concerned. In recent years, the Irish Prison Service has experienced difficulties in recruiting nurses to work in prisons. The 2005 competition concluded by the Public Appointments Service has witnessed 15 nurse appointments to date, and the IPS has been advised that the panel will not generate any further nurses for Dublin prisons. Notwithstanding these difficulties, the Irish Prison Service has recently concluded a comprehensive healthcare review which will provide for the deployment of nursing resources to prisons throughout the estate on a more consistent basis. The Taoiseach can advise the Senator that the IPS worked with the review partners to ensure that nurse resourcing in all Irish prisons is commensurate with the population of the prison, the profile of the prisoners and the healthcare needs of the prison population. The revised level of night nursing cover is considered appropriate in the context of demands for healthcare provision during the night shift. Cloverhill carries out the bulk of its healthcare activity during the day, and nighttime nursing activity tends to be concentrated between the hours of 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. Following this analysis, a proposal to enhance nursing resources in Cloverhill Prison was approved between the IPS management and the staffing representatives. Thus, in conclusion, the Taoiseach wants to conclude that by stating that a prison nurse is responsible for maintaining a safe and clean clinical environment and will function as a primary healthcare provider. The role of nursing staff not only encompasses general nursing care, but also other services such as counselling, health education and promotion, and preventative medicine as well. A prison nurse is required to maintain the highest standard of nursing care and to participate in a multidisciplinary team, while also having regard to and a clear understanding of the needs of safe custody of an offender. In addition, the prison nurse helps to create and maintain a therapeutic environment within the prison as a whole and works with doctors and other nurses and prison staff as a professional member of a therapeutic team. The Taoiseach would like to reiterate that the review of nursing in Cloverhill Prison enhances our resource allocation in that institution and is wholly appropriate in the context of the demands and the needs of the prison during the night shift. I hope that makes it sensitive.
Okay, I'm very disappointed. And nurses are going to be very disappointed. You have to remember the night shift is the most volatile shift. There are no other members of the multidisciplinary team available, and the onus responsibility to fall on one nurse to provide the care and the clinical environment that you speak about is too much responsibility. You probably won't be getting many nurses to be applying for posts in those instances. I will bring back this to the members, the nursing members in Cloverhill. I will bring back your response, and hopefully then we will engage with the unions and see what further action can be taken. I'm extremely disappointed, Minister, but Gorma, good for your response.
Thank you.